Prime Minister Mark Carney triggering Canada's 45th general election in Ottawa today. Carney asking the Governor-General to dissolve Parliament and have an election day on April 28th. Joining us now is Mercedes Stephenson outside Rideau Hall, where this all went down. Mercedes, let's get right into it. Walk us through the process here. What should we expect now?
Well, the process, obviously, Amandalina, always kicks off with the Prime Minister visiting the Governor-General here at Rideau Hall, where he asks for that dissolution of Parliament to take place. And it's happening, kind of by the skin of the Liberals' teeth here. They're coming in the day before the prorogued Parliament would return, with the Conservatives in the bloc looking to take them down. So once that writ drops, which, by the way, is an unofficial term, they don't literally drop something. It's a signature on a document which says Parliament is dissolved, you're going into an election campaign, and Prime Minister Mark Carney becomes Liberal leader Mark Carney, and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. They all are out on the hustings. They are going to be spreading out quickly across the country to campaign in areas that they believe are key for them to shore up. Where a leader goes on the first day sends a strong message. And we know, for example, that Mark Carney is going to be going out to Newfoundland and Labrador. He's not been out there so far. He has been, of course, I was with him last weekend, as far away as Paris and London. But there is a sense that the Liberals want to get back towards Eastern Canada and Atlantic Canada, Maritimes, where they normally have a lot of support, but had seen it decline really substantially. Pierre Poilievre is going to be heading up to the GTA, Toronto, a critical area where the Conservatives are going to have to shore up. Jagmeet Singh has a tougher road ahead of him. The NDP could not afford a plane this time, so they're going to be on buses. Expect to see a lot of them around Ontario, some parts of Quebec, and the lower mainland of BC.
Okay, well, speaking of these party leaders, break things down for each party. Start with the Liberals. How has Mark Carney changed the game for this party?
Mark Carney's been a big game changer for the Liberals, but honestly, the biggest game changer in all of this for all of the parties is Donald Trump. And he's the one thing that they don't actually have control over. That is part of what has helped to shift the numbers on Mark Carney. Mark Carney also just isn't Justin Trudeau. That's a huge advantage if you're a Liberal, and he's clearly moving the party to sort of the center, so right of where they were. They'd moved quite far left by normal Liberal standards towards some NDP policies. So he's trying to send a clear message this is going to be a different kind of Liberal party. He, of course, was a very well-known banker. He was the governor of the Bank of Canada, governor of the Bank of England, a big investment banker in his day before that in the private sector, so he knows markets and finance as well. He's articulate, but he's never been tested in a federal election campaign or at all. I mean, this is a brand new politician. So we'll see how Mark Carney does. Definitely advantageous for the Liberals right now, but a lot of unknowns there still.
Okay, well, the Conservatives have seen their 20-point lead disappear. What is their message going to be during this campaign?
I think that's a lot of what they're still figuring out, Amandalina. They've had to switch gears. They had this message that was really resonating for them and very powerful with Canadians about the carbon tax. And then on day one in office, Mark Carney knocks it down to 0% for consumers. The industrial carbon tax remains, but that's not nearly as unpopular with Canadians as the consumer carbon tax was. So the Conservatives have to find new footing. I think that you're going to see them trying to distance themselves from MAGA Republicans and arguing that they are the strong choice to take on Donald Trump. You're also going to see them presenting themselves as the party of the economy. Despite Mr. Carney's background, they will try to frame Mr. Carney as being from privilege and wealth, Mr. Poilievre coming from a middle-class background. Mr. Poilievre, though, by the way, has been a member of Parliament basically his whole adult life, which in itself is a form that's pretty advantageous. Most people don't start out on six-figure salaries, but he will argue he's come from a background to better understand this. They are sort of testing out this new line about Canada first for a change. I heard him say it yesterday. I think you might hear that throughout the campaign. It struck me that that's a new line they're testing.
Okay, a lot of talk about Carney in there, so let's bring it back to him. He will run in the Ottawa riding of Nepean for the next federal election, but this riding has been held by Liberal MP Chandra Arya for the last decade. The party recently revoked Arya's nomination. So what is it about this particular riding for Carney?
Yeah, they also kicked Arya out of the leadership race. He had been someone who was contesting the leadership against Mark Carney. Party has never told us why they did that, the Liberal Party, but they pushed him out. And I was surprised by how quietly Chandra Arya went when he was told that he was no longer going to campaign in Nepean. Now we know why, because the guy who is the prime minister and now the Liberal leader was coming in behind him. And Nepean is a riding that is likely to go Liberal, especially when you're talking about a potential prime minister there. And I know that Mr. Carney's family wanted to stay in Ottawa. So they were talking about possibly a seat in Edmonton, where he's from, or maybe in Toronto Centre, where it would be safe. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the desire of the family was to have a place here in Ottawa. He's in a different riding right now. He's in Ottawa-Vanier. But this also allows him to be in his riding and close to home at the same time. And I guarantee you they think this is a riding they can win, or they wouldn't be taking the risk.
Well, all eyes will certainly be on Ottawa. Mercedes, we appreciate this. That's our Mercedes Stephenson outside Rideau Hall.